Hi everybody, so last week I made a video of all the things that you need to do before your Kickstarter campaign begins, and I will link that video below. But today I thought I would sit and run through some tips for during the campaign because there's such a lot to do, so I thought collating all of the tips in this video would be really helpful. There are 8 and a lot of these are around social media, and in fact let's just jump in with social media. So number 1, make sure you post regularly on social media. So for example, I posted daily on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, often the same post along those three because I don't necessarily have the same audience on those 3 platforms. So I would share daily posts on there, and on YouTube I was posting 2 videos a week at the start of my campaign, but I actually dropped that back to 1 a week because I was really struggling to keep up with everything, and actually this channel is still 1 video a week, for now at least. But the point is that that was regular content. I was also sharing the key posts from my Facebook and Instagram accounts onto the community tab on here and onto LinkedIn, just making sure I used all of the social media platforms that I use. So whichever ones you use, make sure that you are posting regularly on some of them. That will be daily. But you want to make sure that as many people as possible are seeing all of the information about your project. So that might be celebrating that you've reached particular goals. It might be sharing little snippets of information about your project, sneaky peeks of bits of artwork or who's working on the project or what stage the project's at, anything that you can think of to keep sharing with your audience what's happening with it and why they really must back your project. Also, on the social media platforms, you want to make sure you're using all the different functions, not just posting in the feed. So, for example, you might want to go live on Instagram or Facebook or on YouTube, because when you go live, that notifies any of your audience who are using the app that you're going live, so they can jump on. They might not see your feed post due to the algorithm not putting it high up in their feed, so they might not have seen the information, but they might see it if you go live, and people really like a live video. So maybe you want to do a weekly update, maybe you want to live stream your launch, which I did, and maybe the end of your project, maybe when you reach your goal, maybe key moments, maybe you want to do a Q&A. So think about whether you want to do a bit of live streaming in there. Also, you might want to use things like Reels. Instagram Reels get a lot of people to see your whatever content it is that you're putting into that reel. They get so many views, so that's something that you might like to try as well. Equally, of course, you might use TikTok, and make sure that you're putting information into your stories, because sometimes people won't scroll through their feed. That's on Facebook and Instagram, might not see everybody's posts, but a lot of people will sit and watch their stories, so they will see that information, or they may be more likely to see that information there. But the point is, if you put 1 feed post and say, here's my Kickstarter, not everybody's going to see it, and you can look at the analytics and see that not all of your audience have seen it. The more that you keep saying it and keep sharing the link and keep giving information, the more likely it is that they will stumble across it in one form or another. So you want to keep sharing the information. You might share it in a slightly different way, so you might say, oh, you know, we've reached 20% on the Kickstarter, and then you might say, oh, do you know what Kickstarter is? And have a post about that, you know, but you're still kind of pushing the same end goal, which is people checking out your Kickstarter link or sharing your link to other people who may be interested. So, as I say, number 1, post regularly. Number 2 is to share posts on Facebook within groups. So in my last video, I talked about joining lots and lots of different groups where you could access people who might be interested in your project. So for example, with me, I wanted to, because it was a book, I wanted to look at readers. My readers in particular would be parents. I also wanted to look at people within the breastfeeding community because that's what the book was about. And I looked at lots of different groups, selling groups as well, local ones and not so local. And I wanted to join those groups so that I would be able to share my content onto them, because when you share into a group, sometimes people are notified that there's a new post in that group. Also, people are members of that group who aren't within your audience or within your circle of friends. So you are accessing people that you otherwise can't get the message out to. So joining Facebook groups and sharing your posts, I would say weekly, is really, really helpful. So for me, I would put on a Sunday night a really shareable post. So something like campaign just launched, and then loads of information about what the campaign was, or something like we're 50% funded, please keep looking, or I don't know, but a very shareable post. And then on a Monday, I would sit and share that post to all of the groups, about 50 of them I think there was, there may have even been more. And of course I was encouraging other people to share it as well, so I could just get those posts out to as many people as possible. And the analytics showed that a lot of people were seeing them and a lot of people were interacting with them. So the other thing though there is to have a note somewhere on which groups allow business posts on certain days. Some of them don't allow business posts, so be aware of that. But basically which ones have specific rules. So they might have a thread for small business promotion where you can put it, or they may have we only do business posts on a Tuesday. So make sure you know what those rules are so that you are using the groups as the admin wish, so that you don't get kicked out. But sharing on groups on Facebook works really, really well. And once I discovered that, that actually had a really big impact on how my social media was helping my campaign. So I really recommend sharing to Facebook groups around once a week. So the third thing is to start sending messages. So you will want to start this before your campaign, ideally. Personally, I didn't. So as I say, it would have been better to do it before and get people making noise about your campaign and following your launch page before you start. But I did do it during the campaign, and obviously you may find people that you want to contact during the campaign anyway. So there are various different ways that you might want to do this. So I started off by messaging people on Instagram. Now be aware, it's not very cool to follow someone and then message them, because you have to follow them to message them. It's better to follow them, give it a few days and then message them. And don't just follow them, message them and leave. There were instances where I followed somebody and then messaged them almost straight away, but I am still following their account, so just be cool. So I sent people messages saying, this is what I'm doing in case you're interested. I would love it if you would share it to your audience, whether that be on stories or on your grid. And if you're interested yourself, then please take a look. But any support you can offer would be really, really helpful. And I would send a lot of messages out, and I got a few responses, and I found some amazing creators who were so supportive, and it was amazing. So yeah, just be very, very polite and really push the side of things that you want them to help to get the word out, because a lot of people will be quite happy to share in their stories or something like that. Now you can do the same thing on Facebook. You can look for similar kind of creator accounts, or things that are relevant to your project, and message them and ask if they would be willing to share one of your posts. If they're interested, they can have a look at the link themselves. Same kind of message. And again, I found this helpful. Got some people to share it, got the word out a little bit, and a few of the people that I contacted on Facebook and on Instagram did back the project as well, which was lovely. As well as all of that, you will want to be messaging your own circle. So some people message everybody they know on Facebook, maybe bar the people that you really don't speak to or don't know that well, but message the people you know on Facebook. Again, be really friendly about it. Just let people know that you're doing the project. If they're interested, you'd love it if they're interested, you'd love it if they took a look, and if not, if they could just share it with people who might be interested, that would be great. It's really, really helpful, and your own circle of family and friends are the most likely really to back what you're doing, so do make sure you let them know. But actually alongside that, where I was talking about sharing posts in the last point, do share them to your own personal social media pages. Because again, although you might have your business page, you put lots of content out on there, not all of your friends will follow your business page, but your friends are really likely to care about what you're doing. So make sure that you are sharing it to your own personal pages as well, and letting all of your friends and family and the people who care about you know what it is that you're up to, and they may well go out there and promote it for you or back the campaign as well. So just get the word out, message as many people, whether you're on WhatsApp or on Facebook or just however you can think of, let people know what you are doing. The next point, number 4, is actually do some face-to-face marketing if there's an option for that. So if you can go to events, so during my campaign, I went to a farmer's market and I went to a craft fair, and I had a poster with a QR code so people could find out more about what I was doing. So if there are some local events where you could promote your Kickstarter, then why not go along and let people know what you're doing? And maybe think about producing some flyers or some postcards. Maybe you can give them out. Maybe you could put them through your neighbours' doors. Maybe you could go to local businesses and ask them to have a little stack of them. Again, with a QR code or a link so that people can go and find out really easily what your project is all about. Now, linked to this a little bit, I did talk about this in the last video, but I just wanted to remind you, I talked about in the last one, try and set up some traditional media interviews, so radio and TV and newspapers and magazines. Keep chasing that. So I went on the radio during this time, and I managed to put together some magazine bits, and I was on some podcasts and stuff, so keep chasing that as well. Ideally you want to set those up before, because it can take time to schedule these things, but yeah, don't forget that as well as going to events, as well as seeing people in person. Keep chasing that traditional media thing as well. So on to the next point, number 5. Now, I did not do this, but I wish I had, which is to track your links if you can. So whatever links you're giving out, so whether that's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, or maybe on your little postcard thing, or maybe your QR code at the event, or all your different links you're giving in all the different ways you're giving them, try and use maybe something like Bitly to track how many people are clicking on that particular link and how many people are going on to back your project, find out more about your project. So you can see which of those things are actually working the best. So I realised partway through my campaign that Facebook was getting me a lot more success than Instagram, so I focused more on that, but it took me a while to figure that out. If you have data from using trackable links, that could be so helpful in maximising the things that are getting you the biggest responses. So really recommend setting up, and there is a Google Analytics function within the Kickstarter page, but I really recommend you track where your clicks are coming from. Number 6, don't forget paid ads. So again, I talked about this a little bit in the last video, but you might want to run some paid ads on, say, Facebook and Instagram. You might want to do that in traditional media, so maybe there's a local newspaper that you want to have an ad in. You know, you can make up a little graphic, and there will be various ways that you can pay for various packages to have that ad in a more traditional media type of situation. Like I said, you can also pay to promote your posts on social media, and doing that and actually paying, and you can factor this into your Kickstarter goal, but paying will help more people to see your content. So for example, on social media, it will get more views if you boost a post, but also getting things out in magazines and so forth also gets people to see it. So look for opportunities and be willing to pay to advertise your Kickstarter campaign. Number 7 is to buddy up. Find somebody else who is running a Kickstarter campaign in a similar sphere at the same time. So I looked for some people who were running children's book projects in the UK at the same time. Didn't have to be in the UK, but that just happened to be what I was looking for because we have a similar audience. And follow them, interact with them, message them, and get to know each other and support each other through the process. It can be so amazing to have somebody else who's also sharing your posts, who's also running a Kickstarter and backing each other up and commenting on each other's posts. But also, when I was sharing things saying, oh, I'm getting really stressed, or oh, are we ever going to reach this goal? And I would very quickly have a message slide into my DMs saying, come on, you can do it. I know you can do it. And just being there for each other and encouraging each other and sharing ideas. There was a lot of messaging to and fro about, oh, have you tried this? And did this work? And what do you think about that? So having somebody else who's going through the same process at the same time is really helpful. So have a look, find some other Kickstarter creators and cheer each other on. So finally, number 8 is to look after yourself. Running a Kickstarter is really intense. it's not only the fact that there's an awful lot of work involved, so I was spending at least half of my work time simply on things to do with the Kickstarter. So it takes a lot of time. It also takes a lot of attention because your mind is on it all the time, particularly if you haven't reached your goal yet and you're trying to think about ways to make sure that you get there. I personally ran a bit of maths to figure out how much money I needed to get backing for every day in order to reach my goal. So if I hadn't reached that amount of money, it was something like £65 or something a day. So if I hadn't reached that, I would start kind of fretting. So on one hand, it was a helpful piece of maths to know how to pace myself, but it also stressed me out. But you kind of constantly have a part of your brain that's worrying and thinking about the Kickstarter, trying to come up with ideas and all that stuff. I'm the person that has a tendency to keep refreshing the page. I can promise you that if you backed my project, I knew about it within about 5 minutes because I would just constantly be refreshing and because it's really exciting, but it's also very stressful. So because it takes up such a lot of brain space, it's really important to look after yourself. You might lose a few nights' sleep, so be kind to yourself, make sure you've got plenty of time to rest, eat well, all that stuff, but also try and give yourself time away from the campaign. So turn your phone off and just get away from it for a bit. Try not to look at it too late at night because otherwise you'll be dreaming about it. This is all from experience, can you tell? And if you can get, maybe a little getaway in there. So I went away for a night with my husband, which happened to be the same 24 hours when my Kickstarter reached its goal. So I wasn't that distracted from it because it was all quite exciting and full on. But having a bit of a break, a bit of, maybe go to a spa or go out for dinner or just anything that works for you to distract yourself from what's going on so you just get a bit of space from it is really helpful. Just look after yourself because it's a lot. So those are my 8 tips for things that will help you during your Kickstarter campaign, and I wish you every success with it. It's really exciting. It is also stressful, but it's an amazing experience. So do leave in the comments anything that you found helpful during your Kickstarter campaign. Don't forget to hit like if you found this video useful, and subscribe if you haven't already for more videos like this one. Take care.